Commander Trium are back sooner than expected because the prompt that was to lead us to our update seems to have vanished. So what that's about, I don't know. And it looks like Commander Squaddle has bowed out. So what that's about, I don't know. I haven't actually spoken to him in quite a while, so I don't know why he's avoiding me, but I'd have to say that based on earlier conversation, that is exactly what is now happening. It's a shame, actually. Oh, hang on here. I mean, one could accuse me of being a little bit sensitive, but I don't think so in this case. After months and months of being able to talk to him whenever I want, suddenly he's incommunicado. At any rate, we have a destination. And it will be in the Aladches system. The base we are looking for with the new drive system that I'm hoping we can afford is at Shin Barracks. Actually, I'm going to head for the Segovan system. I just realized that this other one is 24,000 light seconds away, and I don't really feel like parsing through that much space before getting to the base, so the Segovan system. Here, oh my goodness, we have planets all over the place. We're looking for Brema Market. It's got some rare minerals as well. And it's 33.1% metal. Ooh, there's one. 100% metal with worthless mineral content. Technetium. Well, there are many valuable planets in this system orbiting the main star, so perhaps we could do a bit of exploring with the SRV. Course laid in. Launching vessel. And we will jump directly there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Stolen gold, but I'll have to see if there's a black market somewhere in the system. I'm a little surprised to see a capital ship. There are 2 capital ships in this system. I'm a little puzzled by what the... We're going to Segovan A2.
Incoming hail.
Hello.
Where you been?
What's that?
Where have you been?
Working and being sick at the same time, which is never a good thing.
Work will do that to you.
Yeah, well, I've been really busy. Hang on, I'm just coming out of hyperspace right now.
Work will make you sick and tired.
Holy shit. There is a Farragut-class battlecruiser. There are 2 Farragut-class battlecruisers in this system. Have you been to the bubble lately?
Not since like Saturday. Sunday.
I think that since the update, the Federation has deployed its navy. I'm seeing capital ships everywhere in almost every system I visit.
Looks like Robic has been full of other commanders and players lately.
Yeah, I've got enough money. I'm going to buy a new engine, I think. I'll sell the one I have. Hang on. This is Russell in a Type 10. Futurist Segovan. FNS Fearless is in the Segovan system. I like keeping track of where these ships deploy to, if I can. So that's FNS Fearless. Hang on, let's see if I can get the other planet on the screen. There's several planets here. Holy shit. So what have you been up to lately? Playing?
Yes and no. I haven't played much last 2 days. Monday I played for a while.
I was wondering where the hell you were. I paged you a whole bunch of times, but you never seemed to be in.
I haven't been logged on in the last... This is the first time I've logged on since Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was on... I've been on for a while today, but I fell asleep.
Well, it's been really fucking hot here, and my air conditioner kind of broke. Well, it didn't break down, but it's not running as efficiently. And
The impression I got from Spike, he was saying on Discord when chatting that it's hot as shit out today. He'll probably actually play later tonight when it cools down.
yeah, I mean, being near a big tower computer with, like, you know, VR chips in it and whatnot, with 2 cooling towers just on the graphics card alone, makes it really hard to play because you're just in a room that is just getting hotter and hotter with an air conditioner that can't keep up. Like, I could always wheel my big air conditioner in here, you know, the big, you know, 3000 BTUer. But then I'd have 2 air conditioners in one room just keeping me cool. And I'd have to wheel it. I'd be basically making myself be followed around by air conditioners. But I mean, Calgary especially, out west, it's been really, really nasty. There's been a system hanging in the atmosphere, and any forest fires, I mean, it's just been like the mornings you wake up, apparently, according to the news, you wake up and it's just hanging there, eh? Like all this smoke and shit is just hanging there in the atmosphere. It's like, it's horrid. And Alberta is heavily forested.
Well, we've noticed that where it gets smoky and hazy if there's a forest fire out in Montana or something, even here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it'll just hang there, I expect. Since you're a prairie climate, it's exactly the same as Calgary or Winnipeg. And then Ottawa, where I am, it just gets unusually humid. We're built into a valley, the Outaouais River Valley, and it's like, you know, basically two really high banks that rise up to, you know, 400 meters on one side and 200 meters on the other, above sea level. So you got this big V that the city is built into, and the air gets trapped in here too, and then the humidity goes up and it just like fucking destroys you. And I didn't get very much sleep on Monday because of the heat, and then Tuesday, I was having chills. Yeah, no, Tuesday it was like that, and then I was having chills yesterday, and I couldn't, I had trouble staying awake, because I was both, you know, heat stroke sick, as well as, you know, fatigued. So then that happened, and I didn't do anything last night either, and I had to pay my rent, my bills, my, you know, a bunch of crap had to happen, and I just didn't get around to doing any of it. Consequently, my cell phone was cut off this morning. I restored the service, but I'm trying to get to the end of this month with services so that I can have internet, cell phone, etc. all at once with no service interruptions. So I had about a, I don't know, an hour-long interruption this morning. No biggie, but I do need a cell phone for work.
Frame shift drive charging.
Here, let's do this. I suspect you need a cell phone because your kids have cell phones and you need to be in touch with them as they're growing up.
You just have to worry about one cell phone. I got to worry about 4 of them.
Yeah. Is everyone connected?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm surprised the American government doesn't pay you for having, like, more money for having children. I don't think they pay you very much, do they?
No.
Oh.
The government doesn't pay you for having children. Not unless you live on welfare.
Well, they do here, because they want the population to increase. So one way to do that is to give people incentives by allowing for financial incentives to have children.
Orbital flight engaged.
And Canada's not the only government that does that, but the Americans have never shown much interest in it. It's another possible way, though, if you're really concerned about your...
We're not worried about increasing our population because it seems like everybody in the world
tries to get in.
Immigrate here, of all places, which America's not any greater than any other place in the world, really.
Oh, I don't know. It's a pretty good place. I mean, it's first world country, and you know, apart from being militarily the most powerful, it's still, despite all the problems.
At the end of the day, we're no better than anybody else in the world, though.
No, you're not better, but you still have a quality of life that is much higher, by United Nations estimates, is much higher than the majority of countries in the world. There are some very...
That's much higher in other places in the world, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, you don't understand. These places, up until about, 20 years ago, Mexico was a really, really difficult place to earn a living and survive. There's a lot of African countries that don't, you know, that still experience poverty at a level the United States I don't think really does. And I've seen real poverty, and it doesn't look all that pleasant.
We're good at hiding our poverty, though.
So are we. But, I mean, even the homeless people here have shelters they can go to. There's people who donate money. You know, there's a lot of supports available that don't exist in other countries. And I'm sure that's true of the United States as well. There's lots of people who give money.
There's going to be a lot less people giving money if they can't afford to pay their own bills. They're a lot less generous.
Yeah, but they're still pretty generous, all things considered. I mean... Oh, shit. Hang on a second here.
Pick a target, my navigation or whatever. No, not that place. We're not going to take these people to Jameson Memorial. It's a little out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake.
Next time I go to Jameson Memorial, it's going to be to buy me a nice new ship.
I'm going to get fined right away.
Scan detected.
Oh, for God's sake.
Why did you do that for?
Well... Where am I being scanned from? Like, there's a scan detected, but where the hell... There's no, like... There's no ships any. I don't know where, hang on. Where the hell am I supposed to land?
Okay, Commander, make your way to landing pad
We
02.
are supposed to land in Bay 2. And I just don't know where that is.
I gotta go grab a can of pop. We'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Okay. And my spaceship.
Descend to flight level 50. Warning, engage landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Monitoring is in violation of port protocols. This facility is authorized to use lethal force in dealing with transgressions.
Docking completed. Disembark when ready.
Oh, I'm back.
See, I put the six pack of pop right next to me here at my desk. So,
I've done that too, but the pop gets piss warm, and after a while you get tired drinking warm pop.
oh, you don't have the portable refrigerator.
Oh, I do. I've got 3 mini fridges, but they're all out in my garage plugged in.
Oh, why'd you do that?
Because it looks tacky in the middle of my living room.
But you're a gamer.
You know? This is still my living room. I'm sitting here at a fucking really nice wood desk.
Yeah, with a console
Not
and
exactly
everything.
a gaming station, but it kind of became one.
Oh, let's face it, the average user doesn't need 3 monitors.
Well, I got my laptop hooked up here with to an extra monitor of its own.
So there you go.
So
Okay.
I've technically got 5 monitors sitting here.
So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to buy a new engine for my ship. And it's the Anaconda, Class 8 Alpha.
You still don't have that A-rated?
No, not yet.
Oh, you had that A-rated a long time ago.
No, I thought I wanted... Anyway, I was playing around with the A ratings and D ratings and trying to find out which one I wanted for certain systems, but it's gotten to the point where I need to get an A-rated engine for this ship because I'm going to update its power output with Guardian technology. And it looks like we're... what the hell happened in the Pleiades? Like, did someone piss all over the Thargoids or shit in their breakfast or something?
Well, they've been running rampant around the Pleiades for months.
I know, but there's like an entire system was like... I don't know, they got a little bit more aggressive by the looks of things.
There's no official background story going on that I've heard of. I don't mean nothing.
Well, I would look at Galnet when you get a chance. There's
Oh, I did today before I got on the computer. I was looking at it.
well, there's a story there about the community goal where it says something about there being a big shit.
The GS is looking looking to gather up all the food and resources, and escape pods are floating around Pallades.
Yeah, because they did something, I'm guessing.
Did you read about Princess Smurf? Somebody tried to assassinate her?
Yeah, and they tried to kill her boyfriend too. Or tried to beat him up. We don't really know what he was doing. It was either beat him up or shoot him. Probably the latter.
Apparently humanity has not matured beyond the second grade level yet.
Well, apparently not. We've regressed to having an empire.
Well, we regress to beating up family members of people who do something we don't like. I mean, we can't just go confront the person we don't like. We gotta beat up their cousins and their sisters. And
Well, obviously.
still a bunch of fucking juvenile fucking delinquents running around the universe.
Yeah, well,
No wonder the Thargoids don't like us and they're trying to eradicate us. We're a bunch of goddamn immature idiots.
probably.
They just grow up and act a little more
Mature.
mature.
Yeah, I don't think that it's really, even by the year 3000, I mean, I don't really think we're ready to explore the galaxy, even 1,000 years from now. Not really.
Well, we're still trying to wage war with ourselves. If there's other intelligent life out there, they're going to do the damnedest to
Stay there.
make sure that we can't
Touch them.
be spacefaring people anytime soon.
Yeah. Probably for the best. Oh, oh, oh! I just lost some energy. Hang on.
Red Planet Taxi Service. What a name.
Well, there's no red planets anywhere in the galaxy, so it's probably unique. Okay, half the planets are red, I know. Including the one I'm on right now. Okay, so let's have optional internals. No, we want core internals. We want the 8D power plant replaced by... Where the hell is the 8A power plant? Oh, for God's sake, hang on. You know, this EDDB crap is like... It's like such disinformation sometimes. It says here that you can have an 8A power plant at this terminal, at this station, on this planet.
But it's not guaranteed either, and it even says that in the warning section. It just means that it could potentially have one if somebody hasn't already bought it.
Christ, it was 61 days ago. So the nearest one is 41.01 light years away in the Pancomo system. I'll have to lay in a new course.
You just need to get Elite so you can go to Shinarta Desra.
Well, I don't see...
Jameson Memorial is nice. You just go there and buy all your shit.
Yeah, well...
One place.
That's very wonderful in theory, but... I'm not going to make it there. I'm not going to make it unless I have enough energy to fight battles and do things that my ship can't do anymore, because it's gobbling up all the energy. Now, as I was saying, we are going to go to this star map and collect these objects. The Pancomo system. You festering ninny. Pancomo system. Come on. Oh, it's right close. It says 8 point... What the hell? Elwood Dock. It's a space station. Orbis class. No black market. Oh, 2.7% selenium. This is the first planet I've seen a significant supply of selenium on. But there is a planet with selenium on it.
One of these days I need to go start collecting resources.
Would you like selenium?
Actually, yes, I would.
Then you will want to note the Pancomo system. Planet 1 has a 3% supply of selenium. And it's
You'll have to make a big database of where to find each element.
I think there's a spreadsheet or something somewhere that already has that information.
Probably.
I don't know what its currency is though, but it's in Google Sheets. And there's a big sheet where you look at it, you type in the element you want, and it tells you where to go find it. Okay. So.
That's why I don't worry about keeping track of where stuff is. You can always Google everything nowadays.
Yeah, most of it. Can sometimes be a little bit difficult.
If I can't find my car keys, I can Google it. If I Google where are my car keys, it'll tell me.
It's almost true, actually. 8.31 light years.
Google will tell me where my phone is.
Yeah, I know. Google also tells me where my phone is. It comes within about 100 meters of my phone. Less, actually, now, I think. 50 meters. It's almost military grade. And if you get a hold of someone's cell phone, it's not that hard to add their cell phone to your list and make it so that you can watch where they're going at all times. Thus, you can spy on people. But I don't do that.
I can track my wife and kids' phones without too much trouble. Only problem is I don't really need to track my wife. I know where she's at most of the time. She's either at work or at home sleeping.
Yeah, but if you smoke pot, it's good to know where your drug dealer is.
I don't smoke pot, so...
You don't have to worry about it. But if they ever outlaw alcohol again, of course you'll take your beer and hold it in your hands and tell them they can try to take your beer, but you will first have to rip it from your cold dead fingers.
If they want to take away beer, I'm not going to be too worried about it. To take away my whiskey and bourbon and rum, that'd be a whole different story.
Yeah, sorry. Bourbon. The galaxy can giggle all at once. It's still not getting your damn bourbon. Pancomo, 8.31.
I don't know, the Empire needs to deal with its slavery problem before they worry about my bourbon and whiskey and rum.
You know, Achenar is a very expensive planet to live on. I'm not sure I'd want to live...
I don't know how to spell the name of the planet.
Well, I don't... Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't want to live on Achenar. It's just, you know... Mind you, I live next door, practically next door to the Prime Minister of my country. And this is one of the cheaper apartment blocks that I've been able to find an apartment of this size in.
I live next door to the Moose Lodge.
Yeah, well, it sounds a little bit more this just happens to be the capital city, and I just happen to live next door. I didn't try to live next door to the Prime Minister or anything.
I live in a retirement community.
Yeah, but if you lived in Washington, it would be a little different. Of course, your head of state lives in the White House. Ours lives in in a place called 1 Sussex Drive, the Viceroy, also
I
known
don't
as
really give a damn where our president lives because I don't want to even be anywhere near him.
1600 Pennsylvania.
That'd be more of a goddamn nuisance.
Oh, it is a nuisance. When there's a terrorist attack, they deploy soldiers into the streets around my building, and it's very difficult to get past the gentleman carrying the automatic weapon unless you have your driver's license or ID, government-issued ID.
Sir, I live in the building there, and I got a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, and all the groceries last me for a week. Can you please let me go?
Well, if I didn't have my ID, he wasn't going to let me go. So, but it was an emergency situation. But I still wouldn't want to be inconvenienced to the point of, okay, you can't pass through here to go to your house because there's an emergency situation unless it's absolutely necessary.
Now, if that was something that happened on a regular occurrence, I'd definitely move the fuck away from there.
Oh, I would definitely move the fuck away as well. That was just a one-time thing, but hopefully now in the past, safely. But you never know. I mean, the United States does not have a monopoly on lunatics. This guy that attacked the Prime Minister at the time was second generation Canadian, and he was sympathetic to ISIS.
Landing coupler disengaged. You are clear for takeoff.
Our conservative Prime Minister was bravely hiding in the closet. That's where the security forces found him. Not that I really fault him for doing so. I mean, the last thing I would have wanted would be for him to be killed. When you're head of state,
They don't disturb my nap. They can do whatever the hell they want.
I don't really want them shooting Trump either, because that would turn him into something he isn't.
Trump is harmless.
So far from it. You know better.
No, he's only dangerous if you believe him to be dangerous. I think he's harmless. You know why?
He's harmless to you.
He doesn't know who the hell I am, and he doesn't give a rat's ass about me.
That's right.
And I pose no threat to his sphere of idiotic influence, so therefore he's harmless.
Luckily, you're not a Mexican, and luckily luckily you're not a Central American, and luckily your parents didn't try dragging you across the entirety of Central America through Mexico up to the American border.
My ancestors immigrated to this country legally. That's the ticket right there.
Yeah, because there was no border controls.
They don't harass you for it.
There wasn't exactly a border control that they had to report to initially, was there? At least
in the early 1900s, yes.
Oh, was there? In my family's case, they immigrated to the United States in the 1700s, and there was certainly no controls on the border at that point. I mean, technically...
My point is, if you come here legally, they're not going to harass you.
I know, but our ancestors...
If you're coming here without proper documentation, and you got to expect it. If you're here illegally, it's a chance you're going to have to take. I mean...
Well, they're sort of... In Canada, the way we handle it is if you cross the border, we will consider your petition for asylum, like to be considered a refugee. And the United States just calls anyone who...
Mexico,
was that?
Mexico really doesn't have a lot of refugees.
No, but it does. Well, it does that want to relocate to the United States. Like, why? What are they supposed to?
They're not going after political asylum, though.
what are they supposed to do in the case of the United States then? If I want to become a refugee to enter the United States, do I have to?
You usually have to have a good reason other than, well, my country is broke and poor and we got too many drug lords running around. And,
That's not safe.
well, it's not safe here either because we got a lot of drug runners around here and outlaws and convicts running around.
South Dakota is a lot safer than frickin' Ecuador or Nicaragua, I'm afraid.
I'm talking about Mexico. I'm not talking about Ecuador and Nicaragua.
Yeah, but they can't they can't stay in Mexico. Mexico doesn't want them any more than you do.
Why should we take them? We don't need the troublemakers.
They're not troublemakers, they're refugees.
Well, there's been a lot of people that have been coming here trying to claim political asylum who are actually more trouble than they're worth.
That's a judgment call. It's up to you to
You're
decide.
always going to find a select few that sneak through legitimate pathways who are nothing more than trouble. And that's usually why they get detained a lot of times if they're trying to get political asylum and such, is so we can try to figure out if you are going to be a problem or if you're going to be safe to allow to roam around the country free.
Well, I got news for you. I mean, as someone himself who cannot enter the United States lawfully, nor would I try with this president at the moment, in any event, regardless of whether it was lawful or not. It's not easy to get in the States, even for Canadians anymore, because the United States is moving to a more isolationist stance, and you can't just seal yourself off from the rest of the world and say everyone needs a proper documentation to enter. What's the point of doing that exactly? To make yourself safer? Got news for you, the world's not a safe place, and I don't think it does make you a whole lot safer. I think it's completely cosmetic, and it may look and sound better to certain right-wing politicians who can convince their public, who let's face it, don't really study these issues in great detail.
We got the left wings who want to just let everybody come in. We're not going to bother
Why not?
to make sure that you're safe. If you got a long history of murder, rape, and killing innocents back in your home country,
do you really believe that most of the entrants into the United States who come there lawfully or otherwise are really that dangerous, that they have committed murder and rape? Are you equating it at that level? Because I think you'll find it very difficult to convince even yourself that statement is true. Surely.
I can convince myself of whatever I want to convince myself of.
Yeah, but do you want to? I can convince myself we're in a galaxy filled with stars and that I'm really a starfighter pilot, but am I really? Much as I might want to be.
My biggest point is there is a right way to go about gaining entry into the United States and there's a wrong way.
At the moment,
Choose
that's
the
true.
right way, it's a lot less hassle, and you're actually going to be welcomed here. If you're coming through the
Well, if you're not
illegal channels and everything, yeah, you're going to get harassed.
Think about it, if you're not an expert yourself on immigration issues into the United, one way or another into the United States, beyond what the politicians who, let's face it, lie all the time have said, and you want these people who have not even had the benefit of a full high school education to understand the appropriate procedures to follow to enter the United States, to not be considered criminals and unlawful immigrants. Do you really think that you're going to get that wish fulfilled? Is that really practical?
Here's something to think about. Is it all that unlikely that I don't know people from other countries that have immigrated here legally or illegally?
Which countries?
I'm in the middle of South Dakota, but we still do have a lot of...
No, I'm sure you do.
Mexicans and people from other cultures here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a whole lot of people coming from Islamic countries that have shown up here in South Dakota in the last decade.
Right.
So I mean, we're not a bunch of just old white hillbillies out in the middle of nowhere drinking our fucking moonshine anymore.
No, it's not what I said. I said you weren't an expert in immigration issues. I'm not an expert either. And let's face it, politicians do lie.
There are an awful lot of people here in South Dakota who are here legally or otherwise. And I do know of quite a few. Do I go out on my way to harass them? No, it's not worth my effort. I don't want to. I don't need to.
No, I don't get that sense from you.
I'm just simply stating that a lot of times people that come through illegally, they tend to get harassed and they're under a lot more scrutiny just because, well, if you're here illegally, is it possible that you're here trying to evade authorities in your home country? Were you a troublemaker there? Why do we need to import troublemakers?
Yeah, well,
Do we really need and want to deal with that? Not really.
no. Some of these problems, incidentally, don't forget the CIA's abysmal track record with respect to South American banana republics that they set up in the 1970s and 1980s. Hang on a second. Oh, shit.
Doesn't really matter at this point in time anymore.
Well, yes, it does, because, hang on, I'm actually unlawfully entering the station at the moment. I will address the issue in a second. Request docking, there we go. I had part of the reason I'm not allowed in the United States, incidentally, is because I had an American immigration attorney tell me to report for duty to work at a company in Seattle, Washington, several years ago. And when I tried to cross the border, I was informed that the TN1 visa I was trying to come in under would not be considered, that I did not qualify. My entry to the United States was refused, and that was counted as a black mark against me for future entry, I was told. So, yes, there is a... Whoa, hold on here.
Some immigration attorney didn't do the job right.
No, but I mean, it's not my fault either.
No.
Right? And just as it's not my fault, it's not the fault of all these people necessarily for being quote-unquote criminally labeled. And it is a labeling, let's face it, they haven't done anything yet. We still pretend at least to adhere to the idea that we're innocent until proven guilty. They haven't been proven to be guilty of anything other than trying to enter the United States, and that's a law, an artifact created by people who want to, frankly, appeal to an element in the public that's concerned about who might be entering the United States and who might be causing harm, because the wedge of fear has been I think raised in their minds for political advantage at a time when the world is in very, very...
So I'm supposed to take the chance that somebody's going to come and try to harm my family, my wife, my children. I'm supposed to just trust everybody just because they say they've got good intentions.
Well, no more or less than you ordinarily would with Americans. I mean, if Americans are really to be taken at par with Ecuadorians and Nicaraguans, and if we're all human beings and we're all equal people, how do we know that these people are harmful in the first place? How do you know any American that you meet in the street is harmful in the first place?
I don't trust any fucking stranger I meet in the street.
Okay.
It's not that maybe some stranger in the street isn't a good person, but until they prove to me that they're a good person and I know them, I'm not going to trust them. It's just my personal policy. If I don't know you and it takes a while for me to finally decide that maybe you are safe.
That makes sense, but neither do you try to have them thrown out of the United States. I mean, they can certainly exist in the United States, and until they, well, if they're born there, presumably they can't leave, because then they would have no country. But, hang on, why is this not clearing? I have an anonymous access label, and now it's not letting me into the dock that I have to go into. Request docking. Okay. Permission now granted. I'm now... But I thought this was granted before on Bay 39.
You did something illegal to piss off the station.
Obviously.
And you're no longer welcome.
Well, apparently I'm welcome enough to enter the station and land at Bay 39.
1,000 meters from touchdown. Caution. Stay clear of landing pads.
Now it's saying stay clear of landing pads? What? I'm landing. This station is really busy and I'm hitting people. Accidentally, but they have shields. Why is this so painfully difficult and slow? Ugh. And of course, I did tell you about my official my desire to have a no borders policy planet-wide, right?
Yeah, and I still think that's a bad idea.
Well, Russia used to be divided into little regions that you had to have papers in order to cross into, regardless of whether or not you were a citizen of Russia. I remember the United States at the time used that as an example of what it was like to not be free. Because
I can travel anywhere in the United States I want.
Exactly.
Now, I can't travel to other countries without having proper documentation. Why the hell do we need to open our borders?
Well, no, this would be something all countries would do all at once.
There's an awful lot of countries that, yeah.
Well, there's only about 400 countries in the world total.
There's only like 3/4 of the planet that is hostile towards the United States, so they don't want us to come there. We certainly don't need them to be coming here either.
I don't think that's true at all. I don't think 3/4 of the planet honestly thinks ill of the United States. And by the way, Canada doesn't either, in case some politicians down there got confused again over the ongoing trade negotiations. They seem to be...
No idea about trade negotiations. All I know is I had to sit through an hour-long meeting the other day at work.
Oh, yeah?
Fucking annoying.
What was that about?
Oh, the goddamn tariffs.
Oh,
5% increase in tariffs is making it impossible for us to do business. Yeah, well, I don't see how it's my fucking problem. You're the multi-billionaire that's supposed to be running the company, not me.
He'll run it the way he'll run it in his own personal best interest, and the company will run according to the shareholders' best interest, the way most companies run.
This company doesn't have shareholders; it's a privately owned business.
No, really?
Yep.
Well, and I guess the owner has some difficult decisions to make.
The biggest problem is the company I work for actually has business interests in China, has plants, manufacturing plants all across the world. So it makes it real hard for us to, makes it real challenging for us to import the raw materials we need to make the shit and then export it back out, because it's adding costs that we don't need. And our biggest competitors are from other countries that don't have that 25% tariff bullshit going on. So it's actually causing more problems for us, and it's increasing cost of business for us to do business, whereas our competition, they don't have that extra crap.
Yep.
So it's actually kind of harming us.
This is consistent with the business analysts I've heard speak on the subject of trade and America's eroding trade agreements with other countries.
I understand what the theory is behind it. Yeah, we want to try to encourage more domestic growth.
Yeah.
But it's quite literally a global economy at this point in time.
Yep.
So we're honestly hurting ourselves. I don't
Yep.
agree with the tariffs, but got to deal with them.
Understandable, completely. Canada could help, but for some reason...
A lot of the stuff that we that I have to work with a machine at work are parts that come from China and other places around the world.
Yep. Yep. It's understandable. I don't know why Trump is doing what he's doing 95% of the time, but this...
I don't know. His intent, he might have good intentions, but he's just going about it the wrong way.
Well, what good is he if he doesn't know what he's doing? Honestly.
Well,
at the end of the day.
Back at our previous president, Mr. Obama.
Yes.
He had good intentions with his health care initiative.
He brought it a lot closer to social medicine, which is where you need to be.
Yeah, but he also, in order to get it where it was, it ended up causing a lot of mass chaos and mayhem too, though.
Not his fault.
I mean,
there was a lot of opposition. There still is.
Well, there always will be. The biggest thing is, it really sucks being told.
I don't know. You got Ortez.
Or we give you a fine for it.
You got Ortez coming out of New York, and there's an increasing awareness in the American Congress that you know, socialism isn't and liberalism, as it's called down there, isn't such a terrible thing all the time. So maybe we will see some reforms that will hopefully make life better for everyone in the end. But Obama's plan is not finished. Unfortunately, your president can only sit for 8 years. But some plans take longer to execute than 8 years. It's just a reality.
A lot of his healthcare stuff is still hasn't been.
No, I mean you and a lot of it won't be because you got a president who is, quite frankly, he's not in favor of it, but he doesn't necessarily hold himself to his promises either. God knows.
There's only so much he can do. I mean, you rip apart the whole medical insurance system. The only downside is you have to have, if you don't buy health insurance or have health insurance, the government will fine you for not having it. That's the downside that pisses most people off more than anything.
The idea, yeah.
No worse than having car insurance. I mean,
in Canada, it's quite simple. You're taxed, the government collects money from you in the form of taxes, and you get free hospitals in return. Taxes here are higher, but that helps pay for the health care. And so
your healthcare system isn't private, isn't run like ours.
No, parts of it are private, but you know, for the most part, it's a public system. You're right. But there were certain reforms instituted a number of years ago that used to be a complaint the Canadian system was overloaded, overburdened, etc., etc. It doesn't have to be, and sure enough, measures were taken to remedy some of the inefficiencies that were present in the system. Are they all dealt with? No, by no means. But I don't personally believe that we're worse off having a little bit of sacrifice on the efficiency for the ultimate benefit of having universal health care.
Yeah, but here, the way that the insurance system works for us, you'd be putting a whole lot of businesses out of business, and a lot of people would become instantly employed as soon as you put state-sponsored health care. So I mean, the biggest thing is it's going to wreak havoc on a couple of business industries.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. I'm not saying the Canadian model is the only one. In Canada, healthcare is a provincial government concern. So each of the provinces has its own healthcare system. So that means there's 10 different healthcare systems inside the Canada Health Act, which is a federal body of legislation consistent with the Constitution. But healthcare is one of the constitutionally guaranteed parts of our Constitution that you have both a right to, and it's also the right of the provinces to govern. Maybe that situation would work in the United States. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it has to be federal in the States. But I think that's where you have to go.
I said, in order to turn the medical system into what it is in Canada,
there'd be a huge amount of opposition.
You'd no longer have insurance companies because they would all become dysfunctional.
No, that's not true. I mean, that's not true because as an employee, I have the option to buy healthcare insurance so that if I travel, for example, outside of Canada, this is not covered by our system. If you travel outside of the country at all, you can, and are struck down with an illness or get injured, you have to pay for healthcare somehow in that country. Now, automatically, the Americans tend not to think about it.
You're not required to have it, though, are you?
You're not required to, but if you, I'm just saying this is an example. There are parts of the healthcare system where there still is room for insurance to be provided, and as a net benefit of being a full-time employee in most Canadian companies, you usually do get some kind of healthcare coverage on top of what's provided in the public system. Perhaps a private hospital room, for example. Hospitals do keep a certain number of rooms available for patients who need acute care and want the privacy of their own room. So, I mean, there are amenities that you can buy. It's not a hotel; it's a hospital. But I mean, there are amenities you can buy within the hospital system that are still up for sale and are still there for you to be covered by health insurance. And the same exists in the United States. It's not any better in that respect or worse. If you leave the United States and if you travel abroad to Europe or to South America or wherever, you have to...
If you're traveling abroad at that point in time, it doesn't matter what the medical system is like in your home country. Because you're traveling abroad, everything's different, and you know that you've made that choice before you ever left.
Right, but you want to make sure that your health care is going to cover you, right? That your policy is going to cover you in country X, wherever country X may be. And you can have that, or you can buy, there's a company in Canada called Blue Cross, you can simply buy on a per instance basis insurance from, and for your trip to England or wherever you're going, you can be covered. I mean, it's considered, if you travel at all, that you have these things, right? And if you travel, for me, for example, if I had to work in the United States and I got a permit to do so, I would not be covered by the American system. The quality of the healthcare isn't in question, but what is in question is how am I going to pay for it? And one way or another, I will pay for it. That you can count on.
You figure most people in their lifetime won't ever travel to a foreign country. So really, those situations are...
Most Canadians do. I don't know. Do you not find a lot of South Dakotans traveling about to Canada or to... Because you're not even covered in Canada unless your insurance says so. Again, the quality of care is not the issue in Canada.
The majority of people around here don't travel abroad because it's more hassle. And unless you go on vacation and just for the fun of it, what are you going there for?
Well, obviously. I mean, it would be vacation.
I have not been any more than about 800 miles away from the place where I was born.
Really?
Honestly. I've never traveled farther than that. I've never needed to for any reason.
And now you're traveling the stars. Look at that. Virtually, I admit.
Worrying about how I'm going to cover my health care if I ever visit Canada, when the likelihood of me visiting Canada is slim to none. Really, it's kind of it's one of those discussions, a theoretical discussion that is really not worth it.
Well, for someone like yourself, like if I wanted to invite you to Canada, or if Spike wanted to invite you to Canada, the most prudent course for either one of us to have you here or in Calgary would be to contact an immigration attorney and get your criminal record noted but excused for a visit, and pay the fee, basically, whatever that would be. Could it be done? Absolutely, I believe so. You're not good. If you did want to visit Canada at this point, it's probably possible. How much trouble would it be? I don't know. Probably a little bit.
More hassle than it's worth.
Perhaps. I'm just saying it's possible. I think so. I don't know. I'm not an immigration attorney, but I would think so. Just like it's possible for me to, get permission to enter the United States. I just have to pay some money to the State Department. Do I want to? No, and it's more hassle than it's worth. I've been to the United States before. I don't need to go back there for any reason right now.
My job doesn't require me to leave the state of South Dakota, so...
Well, if my job required it of me, I would expect my company to foot the bill.
Well, if it ever became a requirement that I had to go to our Mexican plant or our Chinese plant or plant we got wherever, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be telling them point blank, well, you're the one who's going to deal with the hassle and headache of getting me cleared to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, motherfucker. Why are you interdicting me? Shit.
Now, this was just yesterday.
That's awesome.
Contacts. 600 credits. Purple State Systems.
I got interdicted when I was coming into House's Reach. Just trying to follow the stupid little blue target takes me right through the asteroid belt.
Oh, yeah.
I get jerked out of Super Cruise because I'm too close to the asteroid.
You know what I just discovered? When you get fined for hitting another spaceship in controlled space around a starport, they stop scanning you. So if you're carrying contraband cargo, one of the smartest things you can do would probably be to collide with a friendly ship and then collect a fine for that collision instead of being scanned and have the fine upped to whatever it would be for contraband. Just thought I'd share that.
Yeah. Usually I'm not in the position where I can bump into another ship.
Well, starports usually have other ships around them.
Yeah, but I'm usually not close enough to them at that particular moment.
Aren't you an expert at that? Didn't I see you, like, just ram the hell out of someone at some point? Other than myself, I mean.
Well, I probably have. Get pissed off because somebody's blocking the door, so I
crash into them.
full throttle and nail the boost button and shove my cutter through their aft section. Done that a few times with other players. Like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, well, they're trying to block the door, obviously, if they're just sitting there in the doorway like that.
Well, when you're in a cutter, it don't do much good to block the way.
No.
Because I got enough power to push you out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people don't mess with an Imperial cutter because they're so fucking big that you got that much size you can't really place bumper cars with them. But I really love if somebody comes flying around a little ship and tries to sneak into the mail slot because they don't want to get scanned and you're coming through the mail slot. They run into you and it blows their shields out, knocks 3/4 their hull out. You get a big nasty fine all because that other player decided to be stupid. And I wasn't even speeding or doing anything reckless. I'm just putzing my way out the door.
Yeah, in one of my first missions out to the Guardians, I can't remember which player it was. They're on my friends list somewhere though. Anyway, one of the first players I was partnered with for exploring Guardian sites, we both came under attack from a ship, I think it was a Diamondback cruiser or something, Diamondback Explorer. And he started shooting at us, and the other player didn't have any weapons on his ship. He had gone out there without weapons in order to maximize his jump distance. So we were both running around with SRVs on the surface, and of course you can't really fight a ship of that effectively with an SRV. So what did we do? Oh, we both made made it back to our ships, but he got off the ground first, even before I actually docked my SRV successfully. And he went and he, like, smashed the hell out of this Diamondback Explorer, causing it to blow up. And I can't remember what ship he had, if it was an Anaconda or a Cutter. But he nailed it really good. And it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I can believe it.
He didn't even have any weapons. He still, like, blasted the... Like, this other player didn't even have... He had guns. He attacked 2 SRVs on the ground while they're away from their tough ships. I think at the time I had a Python or something. Very bold, but in the end, not successful. For internals. Power plant, browsing the shop. There is an 8A power plant here, the good news. Here's the bad news. It is 116.7 million credits. Well, I'm not that far away. I've got 81.3 million available.
I've got over 400 million available. You want to borrow a couple million?
1, 2, 3. If I fly back to Robogo... Yeah, but you know what? I think before I get back to Robogo, I'm going to do some work on my reputation with Aisling.
I could just well drop Aisling's faction now.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite ready yet. I need to buy a couple more of those prismatic shields, and then I'll drop her. I'll go enjoy
Not
it.
all of them I'm gonna need, so.
Well,
For me,
she's...
it don't matter. I can drop her now.
Well, it's up to you if you want to be independent again or not.
Well, if I do anything, I might go back to Leon Rui and wait a month and go get some more of the fucking clusterfuck missiles. And...
I've never been part of his faction, so actually I don't even have the clusterfuck missiles, but...
I've got 3 of them.
Oh, really?
They're fun to play with, but...
I probably should join his faction, I think, next. Myself.
Problem is, I've got 3, I don't use them.
Why not?
I don't use missiles on most of my ships lately.
Well, I mean, I only devote, like, normally I have multiple weapon ports, so I mean, normally you can put one of them on, you know, like a center mount or something. You can have a weapons port that's just dedicated to firing the clusterfuck missiles. More than anything, I'm sure they're just annoying as hell. Most of the in most combat scenarios, but
you got like 3 of them firing off at a time in like fast succession, where you've got like 28 missiles flying out towards your target. That is just cool as hell to watch.
yeah, but also your missiles can carry the decomposition enzyme. There's
Not
an
the clusterfuck ones you can't.
yeah. Do they come with it already? Because you can have ordinary missiles with the enzyme as well, but you have to upgrade
No,
them.
the clusterfuck missiles you cannot engineer.
Not at all, eh? I thought I was reading somewhere on Reddit. Someone had managed to do it somehow.
If they did, then
They changed the rules.
Tweak and change.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I still want the missiles, just to have them.
And like I said, I've got 3 of them. I don't even use them.
So, other than clusterfucks, what else do I need here? Oh yeah, I need the prismatic shields. So, let's go get a couple more of those. And to do that, we're going to go to Aisling Duval's part of the universe. Frankly, I'm just scared of what this crazy woman is going to do when she becomes the wife of the Federation ambassador. Like, what is that going to mean? We're going to have, like, two really powerful people in both the Federation and the Empire. There'll be a couple to watch, that's for sure. Because once they're married, that's not the end of the story, I don't think.
You'll have a third wheel or a fourth wheel. You'll have a whole new faction.
Yeah, probably.
You're gonna have the Princess Smurf and family faction.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be daughter Smurf and brother Smurf and of course they'll be much too violent and cause mayhem Smurf. That's how these stories always go.
But they'll eradicate slavery, so it's all good in the end.
Yeah.
They can be complete fucking psychos as long as they eradicate slavery.
They're not going to eradicate slavery. They'll convert it into the Federation flavor of slavery, which is, oh, you can be service sector employee at this company over here, McDonald's, at the McJob.
I don't think I'd ever hack it at McDonald's for more than about 38 minutes.
Before you, what, killed someone?
Some dumbass would come in and pull a fucking attitude at me. I'd be like, you ever just take a shit in your fries or what here, buddy? Here. Have this tossed salad. Throw it in their fucking face. Get the hell out of here and don't come back, bitch.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be tapping me on the shoulder saying, bye-bye.
Well, what puts people in that position is the fact they need money to survive, of course, but they also probably don't qualify to do much else. And slaves in the Empire are much in the same boat. They have debts that exceed their earnings at whatever it was they were doing.
Most people that work at places like McDonald's generally don't have marketable skills of another type, or they don't want to go work in any kind of manufacturing. I mean, if you go take on one of the normal labor jobs at where I work, you get paid a little bit better than you would at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That would require a little bit of effort and attention and focus to be able to do your job. Oh, and you also got random drug tests that you might possibly have to adhere to once in a while.
Do you have to do that, by the way?
Drug test?
Yeah, are you exempt?
I had to take one in order to get the job. It was required.
But not since?
No.
No.
If I were to get injured on the job to the point where I had to go a workman's comp claim, it's automatic requirement that you take the drug test.
Yeah.
If you don't, they can fire you on the spot for refusal.
Yeah.
It's part of the agreement to take the job.
Yeah, Canada, we don't worry about those kinds of things at all. It's neither part of a job, it's neither part of the job requirement, and our Constitution also provides guarantees against the police or any other undesirable authority taking blood samples of any kind without your explicit consent.
No, it's not even blood samples. You pee in a cup and they test the pee.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, but you still you can't lawfully be tested in Canada for that kind of thing. It's just a privacy issue. It's not.
It becomes a safety issue though if I'm high on drugs and I
and for those positions, it is considered that is the only scenario where it's allowed. In this country, but for all other jobs, like I've heard of jobs in the States, like programming jobs, where they do drug testing, of all the programmers. Apart from the fact I would never accept such a position, even if I did test positive, I wouldn't really give a shit. Like my employer could either deal with it or fire me. But it wouldn't change my attitudes about drugs in general.
It doesn't matter what your opinion of drugs are.
Oh, absolutely it does.
There's laws and regulations you have to abide by, whether you agree with them or not.
I don't have to abide by every law. Not if they're ill-conceived.
No, you don't have to. You have to abide by them once you get caught.
And the odds of that are extremely low, as you well know.
I've yet to ever have to. Well, then again, since I don't do drugs, I don't give a damn. They want to give you this. That's more of a.
just to clue you in, of all the people who claim they're not doing drugs, at least 30% you can consider at some point in their life have done them. So
I'm not saying I've never done them.
no, but I'm
I
just.
don't do them now.
Oh, that's obviously if you're a parent, I would expect not. But like if I were a parent, I would never even. It wouldn't even enter my head to do so. But I'm single. I'm cash. I have available cash. I mean, if I choose to do them, I don't consider the government, the state, as having any role in dictating to me what I can or can't put in my body. It's just that simple. And they can make up all the laws they want. Those are contrived by humans and politicians bowing to public pressure and precedent with respect to historical ignorance about what drugs are, what impact they have, and in particular, what they do to me. In my view, by the way, in Canada is becoming more the majority than the minority. Very, very quickly, because we just passed a law, for example, that now allows you to ingest marijuana. Coincidentally, to be also of note is the American reaction to the passage of that law. If you are found to have done, they can still ask you at the border, regardless of what Canadian law says. They'll still ask you when you enter the States, have you ever done marijuana before? If you answer yes to that question honestly, they can deny you entrance. Yeah, they'll refuse entrance. Is what Canadians have been told to expect. So the Americans are still holding firm to their position on drugs, as we hold firm to ours.
Well, at the end of the day, drug use can be regulated like alcohol.
It should be,
Doing something
absolutely.
If you're driving under the influence, well, guess what?
Yeah, no,
You
it
made a
should.
stupid choice. You get to pay the fines and prison time and consequences for it.
I'm in full support.
That's kind of how the states that have legalized marijuana kind of view it.
Yeah.
You operate vehicles under the influence, well, guess what? Just like my job.
In Canada,
My
the
job
term
actually
in Canada,
is a safety issue.
well, in
Being
Ontario,
high, for me to be high at work is considered a safety issue because the machines I run.
of course. In Ontario and Manitoba, my home province, both provinces have laws where it is not illegal to drive. It's not called drunk driving anymore. It's called intoxicated or impaired driving.
We always get DUI, driving under the influence.
Doesn't say
It
what.
doesn't specify.
It
if
doesn't
it's alcohol
specify,
related or not.
But I mean, technically, you could be over medicated on prescription, like painkillers, for example. And if you still operate a vehicle,
You're told straight up by the doctor and the pharmacist,
yeah,
do not
Operate a
heavy equipment,
vehicle.
Do not drive vehicles while you're on this.
Yeah.
If you do, you're breaking the law. You're making a choice.
correct.
If you were drunk or high. So really, there's no excuse. You know the consequences beforehand. You made a decision.
Yeah.
You get to live with those consequences.
And
Whether
I
you-
support all that. What I don't
Right or wrong.
support is the government carte blanche just saying across the board, no, you can't consume substance A. Like, for example, it's lawful for me to inject laundry detergent into my bloodstream, but cocaine, no. Why does that make any sense at all? Cocaine is certainly not going to kill me. Laundry detergent, on the other hand,
It
will.
could. In large enough doses, cocaine will kill you.
Oh, of course. So will lots of drugs. But I mean, if you're taking a dose of cocaine and it's measured out as such, by all things being equal, you should not die from it. And most people will not die from it in a per instance use. Whereas with laundry detergent,
One instance, but it's the people that get addicted to it and disregard. any
not everyone
common
gets
sense
addicted
when-
to it. So shouldn't it be individual?
Well, how do you know that you're not going to have addiction issues until after you've done it?
Maybe not. But that's beside the point. It doesn't apply to the 100% of the population. Whereas we're all very much subject to laundry detergent first toxifying and then causing, creating a burning sensation and then killing and then stopping our hearts. That's what will happen.
No, I've never injected laundry detergent. stuff I use is more of a dry, powdery shit. I can't seem to suck it up into that syringe.
But it's lawful for you to do that, and it's not lawful for you to use cocaine. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a bunch of bullshit, and I refuse to adhere to insanity of that sort, regardless of whether or not it's in the body of law or in someone's cracked out mind. I'm not beholden to another human being's stupidity.
And that's a choice that you make, and you'll pay that consequence if and ever you get to that point. I teach my children there are consequences to your decisions.
Yep.
If you decide to do something that you know is illegal and you get caught, well, you got consequences you get to deal with.
Yep. You could also view it another way, as one police officer, member of the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, told me once. It's not illegal until you get caught. Very pragmatic viewpoint. Entirely pragmatic, actually.
How many millions of credits do I need to buy me a Corvette and A-frame it?
116 million.
How much?
160 million.
That's just to buy it. Then you gotta put A-rated everything in it.
I noticed.
I got enough money, I can just go buy one.
Mm.
I'm not gonna be able to resist the urge to aerate the motherfucker before I leave Jameson Memorial with it.
Well, here's the other thing I can do. I can actually buy an 8B power plant. Now, if I B-rate the power plant, it costs 36 million. It does not cost me any distance for some reason, but it may cost me some maneuverability.
Yeah. I got a 6B power plant in here, and I have 94% usage in my current configuration.
Yeah, I'm still over 100. I think I'm going to have no choice. I have to upgrade this somehow, and I can't.
I have a shield, and I have weapons on the ship, too. Now. I decided that since I only need to jump 30 light years, 2 jumps regardless, I put a little better shield and weapons on it. What do I have for shield right now? I got a class 7 bi-weave shield generator. Got a 7A thrusters. Pulse laser, pulse laser, pulse laser, pulse laser. Multi-cannon, 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 multi-cannon.
2 turtle dogs and a partridge.
They're all turreted weapons, so
Yeah.
because I feel lazy. Actually, I couldn't. My POTUS control, my secondary trigger is broken, so I got to buy a new controller now. Oh, someday when I want to spend $50.
Oh, you know what? I lose 2 light years distance on the B rate for some reason here. I don't know why. I lose 2 light years before the engineering upgrade. Probably get most, if not all of it back once I do the upgrade. And I suddenly have enough energy to power the thing, although not deployed, with everything retracted. But I do need a power upgrade, or I'm gonna just...
It all depends on what you plan on doing with it.
Well, let's see, there's 8B, 8A and 8B are available here. I could have bought 8C earlier, I did not. So 38 million, we'll take that one. And if we sell the old module, we only get 2 and a bit million credits, and it's been upgraded and power maxed.
Yeah. And what's your rebuy on your Anaconda right now?
I don't know. I'm in the menu here. Hang on a second. Okay, we've upgraded. Now we have 33 megawatts of power. We now have enough to power retracted systems. Going back. What was your question?
What is your rebuy?
I don't know. Insurance rebuy. Where do I find that?
Shields online.
Probably right on the outfitting screen. Bottom right hand corner. If you're still in the outfitting screen.
I just don't see on the where bottom right corner is advanced maintenance, not.
If you're in the outfitting screen.
No.
Go over to your right,
Insurance cost is 16.9 million.
you got about 6.3 million more rebuy than I've got on mine. So you've got yours
Upgraded more.
upgraded more than mine.
A little bit
Mine I
more.
only upgraded. I actually intentionally intentionally set this up just for one purpose right now.
Oh shit, I have to actually travel to the planet. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I can get level 1 with the sulfur I have on board, but after that I have to go to the actual engineer.
Capacity exceeded.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I ended up over the weekend. I broke 2 billion in all what I've got invested into ships and modules.
Okay, we
All kinds of
now
money stuck into shit.
have 33% more capacity than we had before. Go back again. Fuck, this is complicated. Usage is at 97%. Without 2 systems being enabled. I think I might be able to arm my second point defense cannon. I can. Still offline is the torpedo pylon 1. 99%. The planetary vehicle hangar is offline, and so is the frame shift wake scanner. There is a red icon next to the prismatic shield generator that I don't know what that is.
Probably means that you don't have enough power to run it.
I don't know what it means. It's the engineering icon, but it's painted red. So I don't know what that means at all. Usage is now 99%, but we have enough power to actually power most of the things on the ship again. So I actually don't know. Who's my power engineer? No, we don't care about that right now. Although I could get the experimental feature on my power upgrade. Engineers now on the screen. Missiles, scanners.
I'll be right back. Oh no. God damn it.
What?
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 I was talking to myself.
Power plants. Mario Quint. Quint? Yeah, well. Fragmentation cannons.
You're trying to figure out who's your power.
Yeah. It could be one of 3 different engineers. It's probably Mario Quint, though. Yeah, it's Mario Quint.
Marco Quint. Power plants and power distributors.
It's a power plant, so...
I've got grade 5 access with him.
Okay.
The Dweller will also do power distributors.
I need to get rid of this hot contraband bullshit that I'm carrying around with me.
Your Tawny will do power plants and power distributors as well. I'll be back. I gotta find a restroom.
Yeah. Okay, so where else can we go here?
Oh, shit.
I'm having a rough time finding black markets that will accept docks with large spacecraft.
Good luck with that one. First, I don't even bother if I do pick up something that's illegal goods. I just fucking shit can it.
This is gold, otherwise I would.
Well, if you only make 30,000 credits on it, it ain't worth it in the grand scheme of things.
I'd make money anywhere and everywhere I can. I just want to know if there happens to be a port within range that does this particular service. It should not be that hard to figure out. There is one here at Segovan, no. And no others. Yes, there is another one. There's one over here. What the hell is going on with this system? The Torno system. No, I was just there. I'm not going back.
Is it a Princess Smurf system?
Fucking Christ. No, there's nowhere here. There's nowhere local that has anything resembling a black market. I may have to shit can it. It's just costing me way too much goddamn money.
Well, time is money. If it takes you an hour to find a place to sell it, is it really worth the time you invested? Then you could potentially go make twice as much money.
I was just looking to see if it is there en route or along the course I'm taking to go to see Princess Aisling's little world.
Okay, I've got 424 million credits.
How wonderful for you. And all those other people who have 424 million credits.
Eagle aspects. I got Jupiter here. I can use that. I could go to Chenard and go blow 300 million credits. This sounds kind of fun.
You know.
Shiva.
The Kylie system.
Jupiter. There's only 2 ships here. Other than Prometheus.
$327 light years away.
This is the ship.
And that is the closest system I can have.
I should theoretically go to bed, but I really don't feel like it.
I've got work I have to do very soon, and I will be going to bed shortly. Consequently.
Normally I would be I'd have gone to bed about sometime in the last half hour, but yeah, I took an hour nap. So, yeah, I'll be up past the night, I'm sure.
It's still hot here.
I think it was 80-some degrees out today. 85, 90, something like that.
It's only 5 jumps. 2 of them go through white dwarfs. Okay, that's fine.
Let's see.
Lunch.
Jameson Memorial. 495 light years. Ooh, this scoop on here. Yes, I got a 6-speed fuel tube. Kind of small. Why the fuck is it so small? Put a bigger one.
Well, we're headed for the mail slot, and someone is flying a dolphin out the mail slot. Taking much too long about it. Course laid in Arietta Sector Zulu Bravo Juliet Alpha 10-1. Execute hyperdrive. Ooh, that hurt my overall speed of my ship. Ah, fuck off. My video is fucking up again. God damn Elite, they cannot get it to work with the Oculus the way it's supposed to. Jesus Christ. Frickin' British, they figure they've got everything figured out, they write code their own way, and it's usually not better than what someone else has done.
Sounds kind of like the Canadian way.
It is. Except usually our code is better. Okay. Scanning. Wait, nope, jump, then scan. Scan. Bipedals pushing buttons. Bipedals fixing relays. Oh, and the Marvel game's been released for Oculus, so now I can be Doctor Strange if I want.
Oh, goody.
Means I'm endowed with superpowers that could let me fight Thanos if I wanted. course, Thanos is shifting reality right now, so
Frameshift drive charging.
might not be the best thing to challenge him until you have the appropriate means to do so. Oh yeah, and Doctor Strange for the moment is dead. Well, Thanos is still alive.
Oh, the comic book heroes tend to resurrect from the dead on a regular basis, so I'm not too worried.
Well, no, it's also the only scenario Doctor Strange has the ability to see into the future. He could only find one solution for the Thanos problem, and of course it ended up being that he had to die in order for that one solution to come through. So he's taking the appropriate steps to ensure Thanos' defeat, but it's not clear how that's going to happen yet, until the next movie comes out.
I'm gonna commit suicide.
I doubt it. But he is insane. You never know, he's probably from Ecuador or something.
I like Doctor Who better.
Doctor Who?
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty, he lives in a kind of British conjured utopia, though.
No, that's why it's interesting. It's completely different spin on reality than what American.
Sci-fi. Maybe.
The Doctor Who, his last, whatever, he became a woman. So it should be quite entertaining to see how they play that one.
Yes, it should, whenever she finally puts...
His most recent incarnation as a man, I couldn't stand him. Watched about half a dozen episodes and quit watching them. I couldn't tolerate it. That certain actors are better for certain parts. That guy, I just didn't like his Doctor Who character.
Really? I thought he was okay. It wasn't...
It's his scatterbrain. He's off in fucking La La Land way too damn much.
Fucking Christ. Hang on a second here. Speaking of scatterbrained, I have to navigate through these corridors exactly correctly or I'll be killed.
Oh, it can't be that bad.
Oh, it usually is. Entering corridor now.
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
Oh, exiting the corridor at point 2C. That's unusual.
What a name. The system's name is IX. IX. The Federation Corporate System.
Or it's Planet 9.
System 9.
System 9, I beg your pardon. System 9. It's probably X, though.
Ready to engage.
It's Sneaky Booty. Oh, Discord's telling me that there's something urgent I need to look at a friend's page for. Usually when it puts the little number in a red box icon beside it, usually it's something related to you, I think, maybe, I don't know.
Not this time.
I don't know. He probably wants me to come into the room and harass him and give him a hard time like I usually do.
Cafe Gelabon.
Frameshift drive charging.
Do 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 do. And 4 new stars have been located. 4 new planets, sorry.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel suit disengaged.
You still there?
Yep, I'm fuel scooping at the moment.
How many jumps do you have to complete?
Last jump, then I'll be in CMDR Trium.
Huh? You went over there. By the way, I'm actually about 30% short of entering the elite standing on trade. So if I go back to trade, I can increase my standing so that I get elite qualifying. But I really need money more than I need, you know, to worry about my player rank right now.
I've got money and good way of making it, so I can pretty much do whatever the hell I want when I get bored.
Well, I have a fairly decent way of making money. It's the exact same way as you. You go to Robogo and you mine the hell out of it for passenger money.
Well, I have a larger cash flow coming out of there, though. I bought a ship specifically for making money that way.
The only way I'm going to get a ship that large is by upping my Imperial rank considerably, and that will take a long time to do.
I'm using an Anaconda in Robigo.
Oh well, last time I was I make 10 million a run clear now when I'm in Robogo. I mean, how much more can you make? It's
25 million per run.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you do that unless you have standing with all 3 of those.
Yep.
Factions. I don't. I'm
completely allied there, so
I'm friendly with one.
And I only pick the good missions, so that makes a difference.
Well, I take the good missions, the best ones I can find, but I'm only ever offered 2.5 million. So
that's usually what I'm doing, but I've also got eight passenger bays that I fill at a time.
I got 5.
That makes a difference. Potentially another 10 million credits that you could be earning.
Yeah, the passenger bays also get smaller.
I still fill them. Still pull good money off of them. I've got a 70 5-weave shields in there. So I'm actually using one of my potential bigger ones, bays, for a shield.
Okay, and
Missions at 2.5 billion for the little.
I guess that's true because the first class passengers aren't necessarily numerous and they pay top dollar, so I haven't been using the smaller bays, but I guess I could.
I use the small bays. I got 4, 5, and 6.
And we're at our destination, the Kylie system.
Frameshift drive charging.
auto dock.
And this is where we will likely be suspending further activity for today, because I have to get up tomorrow and work. There's also a report due to my executive manager, which I have to tell her what I've accomplished in the last month, which I have to help my immediate boss write. So don't want to be falling asleep in the middle of that.
I don't know, a lot of management bosses where I work are rarely ever there, and all they ever do is look to make sure that the machine shop is putting out parts and not getting backlogged. As long as it ain't backlogged, they'd leave me alone. Got a new analyst who decided that she's going to mess with shit. I think she found out that when I go and delete jobs out of the system, I think she realized to leave those jobs alone.
You know what? This system is not going to be a control sphere, I don't think. No, it can't be. It hasn't got a major station and no bays capable of landing large ships. Except Delaney's Inheritance. Okay, maybe there we have to go.
Let's see, shipyard. Imperial Cutter. Federal Corvette, 164 million.
Oh, and there's a black market there that is functional.
Purchases. I'm now the proud new owner of a Federal Corvette.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah, that was my Saturday afternoon.
So you're an admiral then.
Expedition.
You have to be an admiral.
Yep.
Oh, this planet's not scanned. I'm going to scan it. Take that one right there. We have a Viper Mark IV. The Centurion. It's a System Authority vessel. Kylie A. It's unexplored.
Definitely an interesting layout for the cockpit.
Federal agent competent. Hang on. Well, I don't think I have an interdictor on board. Come on, finish scanning this frickin' planet, you moron.
See what kind of toys we can put on this ship. Oh, fitting. See what we got for core internal.
Beam lasers. Multi-cadden. Frameshift drive. Fighter hangar, point defense, power canopy, power plant, cargo racks, detailed surface scanner, thrusters, prismatic shield, guardian plasma. No, I don't detect the appropriate equipment on board, so we will not be...
Seven A thrusters. Yeah, we can do that.
Coming up on Delaney's Inheritance. Stand by for dock. It's on the dark side of the planet.
$2 million power plant.
Orbital flight engaged.
That's B that I have in storage in here. Optional internal. 7A prismatic shield generator.
Delaney's inheritance now 55 kilometers below. Approaching. Approaching. Sluggish interface.
Alpha Romeo 0. A docking request must be supplied before access can be granted. Docking request approved. Please make your way to landing pad 11.
We are at landing pad 11. Located. Computer, increase speed. For dock.
Scan detected.
$1,400 points. 1,446 integrity. Not too bad.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
I hit the bottom of the...
Oh, my phone's fully charged.
Shit! Fuck off, you cunt! I can't center this goddamn ship on the thing because my controller is buggered. Okay, landing the ship. Ship has landed. Okay, enter the hangar, please.
Fighter hangar. I can produce up to 30.
Up to 30 what?
Fighters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you basically the 6D fighter hangar gives you 2 bays, so you can only make like 7 or 8 fighters for each bay.
Yeah.
So before you run out. Well, the 7B you can make up to 15 for each bay. So basically, you can potentially stay out longer fighting before you have to
So
go
what
and
happens
fight
when you
fighter
have all
hangars.
these fighters as part of your bays? Like, can you use more than one of them simultaneously, or?
No, it means that if you blow one up, you got rebuilds. You got 30 rebuilds.
Automatically, instead of using resources and time to build replacements into your ship.
Well, it still rebuilds replacements, but it can build 30 fighters instead of a 15
I see.
or 14 that a 6D can do.
Okay,
But it's fucking heavy, and I don't know if I want that much weight.
yeah, I don't know. Just solve this. Contacts. Black market, please. Sell the damn gold. And we have thallium. We'll go to our commodities page. And thallium's at a premium here. Yep. It's worth much more here. Okay. So we sold that off. We have 2 limpets left in cargo hold. That's it. And now I'll piss on you, you cunt. Excuse me. Okay, actually I'm gonna get my shipyard. I'll move my freighter out here. It'll cost me 1.3 million because it is wanted. It will take 23 minutes. I will sacrifice the million. The ship is now en route to the Kylie system, Type 9 Heavy. And we'll have to clean it when it's here of all the illegal bullshit that it's been subjected to. Okay, well, I think that's everything for tonight. I'm going to let you go.
Okay, good night.
You too. We'll hopefully catch you on later this week or weekend. Take
I'll
care.
be on tomorrow for a while.
Yes.
Off and on.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. And with that, folks, it'll be it for me this evening. This is Commander Trium at 35341 Zulu and 10 August 3304. I'm at Delaney's Inheritance in the Kylie system, flying the Anaconda. We are moving materials to acquire level 3 standing in Aisling Duval's presence, so we qualify for the prismatic shield one more time. And in addition to all of that, don't forget to look at the properties for this video on YouTube, where you will find websites dedicated to the documentation of these travels and Commander Trium's chronological blog as it stands on Twitter, along with other relevant articles. Don't forget also to click I like or subscribe, along with the bell icon to the right, subscribe icon, if you want to be kept apprised of these ongoing missions into the Elite Dangerous universe. With Commander Trium, yours truly. This has been Commander Trium. I'm signing off one more time. Good night, everyone, and fly safe, Commanders.